This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Hello, I'd like to call the December 6th meeting of the Easthampton Historical Commission to order. Let's see here. First order of business, public speak. Anybody have anything to say outside of the meeting? Okay, approval of the November 8th meeting minutes. Two of us that were here.
I move we approve the November 8th meeting minutes.
Second, and let's do it. All in favor, yay.
Yay.
Okay. Correspondence.
We received a project notification form from Home City Development. They sent the project notification form to Mass Historical Commission and sent a copy of the form to the Historical Commission here. Essentially, this is a sub-project of the One Ferry Street redevelopment project. This part of it is taking place at 11 to 15 Ferry Street, and it's a it's like a 90-something unit affordable housing project.
Which building?
So it's going to be to the east of the canal.
It's where the empty space is now, right?
Yeah, there's a building right on the canal that's very decrepit, and then there's like a flattened area. And back in 2018 or 2019, when the Ferry Street project was originally permitted, the developer came in and got approval to demolish 4 buildings and then renovate 4 buildings. Subsequently, they have gone back to the planning board, they amended some of the plans, and they are now proposing to demolish one of the buildings that they had proposed to renovate. 2 buildings that are included in the project notification form were approved for demolition. One was proposed to be redeveloped. And I believe that the planning board gave their approval to the project to proceed to demolish the buildings.
Well, don't we have to go and see the building?
Well, they haven't applied for demolition permit yet, so it hasn't come back to the Historical Commission. The only reason the Historical Commission is getting this notification form is because it's going to Mass Historic, and they always require that everybody get the same. So there's really not much to say right now about the project as it relates to the Historical Commission, because it's not on the agenda, so
It's right on the canal.
So,
But I'm not sure which buildings are which.
So there's no action item right now for the Historical Commission. It's really just here's the thing. I did make I scanned the whole document this afternoon. So if folks want, I can send it out to everybody so you can take a look at it. I'm not sure if there's an opportunity for comment to Mass Historic as part of this, because I didn't have time to read through it fully. But if there is, and the commission wants to,
When you said you scanned it on a machine, or you scanned it?
I made a scan of it. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to clarify that.
Yeah. So. So I got to see this.
So,
There's somebody here.
yes, there
Nobody
is.
here but us chickens.
Is it? Okay, so we're talking about one
Yeah.
area. Five members at that place sometimes. Okay,
So I can send people
yeah.
we have to, in the planning department, we have to figure out, like, I'm looking back at what was approved from demolition delay back in 2018, it's clear that one of these buildings was supposed to be developed, so there will likely be another request from the developer at some point to come here and get it, ask for permission to demolish it, because they're going to Mass Historic, and Mass Historic it won't slip by Mass Historic
Right, yeah.
that they need to, these are all buildings that have been inventoried and have, there was an agreement with the developer about which buildings are to be saved and which ones are to be demolished, and now they're asking to change that, so.
Okay.
When are they gonna start on this one?
I have no idea. Not the one in this plan, correct?
It's not the one in the 11th.
Yeah.
But I thought, I mean, they're gonna start that one this year.
They might.
This year's on this one.
Well, I mean, sometimes starting it this year means
Next year.
doing a lot of pre-development work that then ends up in the construction on the ground actually starting next year.
That's all that right there. Slide it in there. Everything together. Okay. Number 5, I don't really have too much to say about the cemetery project yet. We can reach out to Shannon and get a chance. Invite her to a meeting for next year.
I
you said-
wasn't in on that.
I know. We left you out of the loop. No, did you see the notice from Mass Historical? It's in minutes. I have a copy.
Oh, it said Brookside Cemetery.
Yeah.
Yes. Eligible for listing.
Right, yep, that's basically it, so we want to follow up on that. Hopefully maybe get some momentum. Listening up to it.
And the affordable housing project for lodging house, that's in the works.
We're still pre-development on that one.
You want to see the letter? No, you got a copy of it, you got a copy. Okay, so anyways, we don't really have much to say about that. So hopefully we'll have more going forward. And there's the one about the cemetery. Give it a few minutes. Yeah, this is riveting TV. I watched the last meeting, and there's like 0 views. So now there's 1. Okay. Metal detecting on city property. We did actually get a couple of things on that. For the most part, some places either totally forbid it, or some places have permits. Let's see. This one actually is from Michigan. They have an application. I'd like to see it. It's Ashfield. I believe it was under their cemetery regulations. And they actually had you can't really Metal detector.
In the cemetery. That's
And Topsfield, no metal detectors, golfing, horses, or unauthorized motor vehicles will be allowed into the Topsfield cemeteries or parks. That's pretty much all they have in their ordinance, in their rules. Are they looking for something like that here in town? Would be a good idea. I'm not sure. Fairhaven has quite a 3 pages. Whoa. 3 pages of metal detecting application. 4 pages, I'm sorry. And Worcester, this was the best one. If you want to do metal detecting at any of the Worcester city parks or sports field, it's not allowed on city parks or sports field during irrigation's electrical or plumbing, which makes sense. And metal detecting is only at the beaches with a permit. Not sure how many beaches are in Worcester. Not far from the ocean.
It must have like a pond.
Huh?
It must have a pond.
Yeah, there's a few pretty good sized bodies of water. The fee for metal detecting is $100 for 10 dates, 4 hours per date. So you get 40 hours basically over 10 tries. So you have to list your dates above and what times you're going to be there, number of people you're bringing with you, and then they have all these rules. Which is actually all the rules, but they're just included in the permit. So they make it a little more onerous. Any like state parks, like Mountain, you're not allowed to do any there unless if you lose something and you come with a metal detector and say, hey, I lost my wedding ring, I want to go look for it, they can give you permission. It's something that's, but you're not allowed to really dig up anything old.
Right.
As far as the metal detecting people themselves, you want to see any of this. A lot of them are of the attitude, well, don't ask, and just go and do it. So, I mean, you're already kind of up against people that are like, well, I'm just going to do it anyways, I don't care. I suppose publishing some kind of rules as far as, this is actually from Michigan, Springfield Township in Michigan, I think. So they have 15 rules. Most of it has to do with, if you can claim like new coins and that kind of stuff, but if anything over 100 years old, it either remains in place or belongs to us type thing. Metal detecting is allowed with a permit from the Parks and Recs Department in any of the parks. It is not allowed in any sports field or areas where activity is discouraged, wetlands, environmental sensitive areas, archaeological sites, historical significant sites. Parents or guardians are responsible for kids. Metal detecting the surrounding environment shall not be disturbed. So, a hand tool for digging purposes permitted. Holes should be not more than 6 inches in depth. So, any holes created must be refilled immediately.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
For someone who breaks up.
Basically, anything I found is pretty much the same. Either absolutely not, or okay, you can do this, but this is really narrow.
So are we supposed to provide input or create some?
Input, I believe.
I mean, who's responsible for creating an ordinance?
Well, if we wanted one, I suppose we could write it, but I don't think. I talked to John Mason at the park when it first came up. He really didn't seem too concerned about it.
I guess I don't recall what the request was from the mayor. It was a while ago, but I think she had just emailed.
Somebody asked. Somebody asked if they could metal detect, and so the mayor was like, sent it to the lawyer, and the lawyer said, well, maybe the historical commission should look at this and see if we need an ordinance.
Are these ordinances from historical commissions? The ones that we found?
They would go under like the general.
It's mostly
laws.
Parks and Rec, it seems, cemetery. Worcester, I'm not sure, that's Public Works and Parks.
I mean, so like this historical commission, we don't manage any property.
Right.
There are some historical commissions that have properties that they manage. You know, I imagine that like in Boston or something like that, there's historic, so Parks and Rec can write their own rules and regulations about their own properties. Same with DPW. But if I guess I question like what the need is for this, and like if you know, is the mayor trying to have reasonable rules and regulations for metal detecting on city property, or is it trying to say we should be on this?
Well, would it be appropriate for us to all chime in on the thing that we think is like, because you kind of got high, middle, and low? Should we offer we suggest this is similar to the kind of thing that we think would be good? Just a recommendation?
I mean, that's where I don't know what the intent is. If the mayor's trying to say, should we ban this, then we just say it's not allowed on, the city should have a policy of it's not allowed on any city property.
It sounds like it wasn't coming with any pre-directive. It sounds like, it was just a question, at least as I understood it. What did we think?
Right. I mean, it sounds like that there are definitely archaeological sites in Easthampton that we don't probably want people digging in. I don't know if people are going off and digging up in the archaeology, doing illegal excavations, or people are just. The one time I saw someone metal detecting, it was at Lower Mill Pond Park, and they were just like in the field digging around. They had like a small shovel, and they were just digging their holes and then filling them in right back. And they said that they
At Millside Park.
they had said that they had permission. I said, you can't do that here. And they said, yes, I can. I have permission.
Yeah.
And then the security guard actually just happened to be around, and I said, can you metal detect them? Oh yeah, they're never a problem. They just do this, and so.
I'm not sure where that's from.
I feel like it's been on the agenda for
Yeah.
at least a year.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking back to 2001, so. I mean, like I said, it's not, it certainly wasn't urgent.
Does anybody have a leaning one way or the other, right, out of curiosity?
Not really, but there's also, I mean, I can see a place for it, or at least mention, like something like this, right? Or there's one rule that says, hey, I mean, but it's more up to John than it is to us.
Well, but it's, I mean, for the parks, it's up to John.
Yeah.
But there are lots of city land that's not parks. Like the front yard of the municipal building.
What's the attorney's name?
It'll come to me.
And his last name, I can't think of it right now. So, anyways, if there's any recommendation or something, we'll think about it a little bit more. I don't want to think too hard though. Actually, the light might come on.
I guess
Mark Tanner.
Tanner?
where I come down on it, I would think, because I kind of agree with you that if there's anything too onerous, people will ignore it. I think if it's nothing, they'll obviously do whatever they want. So I tend to think if there's something that's a little more in that 15, they look like pretty common. I mean, half of it was just like, don't do stupid things, right? But listing them out and saying you're responsible for your own safety and that kind of basic stuff, that at least then, and it did say that if you found anything of historic value, then you have the right to take it. Having all of those things mentioned would mean that if somebody broke the rule and then we found out about it, then there would be some recourse,
Right.
and at least they would have been warned. If we never find out about it, it's a moot point anyway. We
Right.
can't react to anything we don't know about. And if we don't put anything as a policy, then we have no recourse. If we did, let's say, find, I know it's fiction, but somebody finds a bucket of gold doubloons from Viking horde, the big Viking horde that proves they were here.
I mean, you're digging in a park, and that field has been, new solid, or it's, the fields were built up because you have to dig them down. So it's got a layer of gravel, and then it's got a layer of smaller gravel, and then it's got the dirt, and then it's grass. So it's already been investigated by the construction workers. There's nothing within 6 inches of the surface at any of the parks fields where we have, you find like rings or watches or
That's the thing. I would think
things
new stuff, like
um,
anybody who's looking
Who's
for
lost their
recently lost
changes
stuff.
falling out of the
Yeah.
pocket.
exactly. And so
Here you go.
Yeah.
It hasn't been a year.
it hasn't been a year yet.
It's not been a year.
Good.
So we're right on top of this.
All right.
Okay, my name is Tim. I've been directed to seek permission to metal detect on Easthampton town property located at the corner of Hendrick and Holyoke Street. Looks like a farm field, blah, blah, blah. Read the whole thing. So Lindsay, the mayor's office, says I would check with the assessor's office who owns the property and contact them for permission. Massachusetts Interactive Property response shows Easthampton owns it. So then all of a sudden, Lindsay says to, I'm not sure, have you ever had something like this come up in your time here? I think to Barbara. And then Barbara responded, I've never heard of anyone asking permission to do metal detecting before. So, and there we opened up a whole can of worms. So the mayor says, what if he finds items of historic importance? Who owns them? Ask Mark. Mark said, this lawyer, said the city would own what he finds, but that would require that he tell the city they actually found it.
Right, how do you enforce it?
Seems like the type of thing that local historical commission should be involved in some sort of ordinance similar to the state law passed if you wanted to formalize the policy. Otherwise, I would give him some sort of written license which allows him to act, but requires him to turn over anything of historical significance he finds to the city. That was the
Did
lawyer's.
Mark Tanner reference what the state law was?
No.
And I'm realizing there is a precedence. I watch these shows all the time in the UK where, like in Britain, metal detectorists find things in farmers' fields all the time,
Yeah.
and they bring in the archaeologists, so there's something that incentivizes them.
I think most of the people that metal detect,
If it's historically significant,
they would be happy to, because most of what they find isn't all that great
you
anyway.
want to say, I made this discovery, right?
Or if you find a diamond ring, it's like, it's not really historically significant.
Right. So, yeah.
Unless it belonged to, like Emily Williston. And,
Right. So I tend to think having an invitation on the books that's something not too onerous. I don't think a 3-page, lawyer threat suit sounds like a good idea, but I also don't know that I think. I could be convinced if somebody wanted to make an argument like just no. How about just no? I could almost imagine, because that was my assumption originally, is that we just didn't allow it.
Well,
But because I agree that most people are just going to do it and run around, it seems like maybe you could at least make a polite invitation.
the state policy, I don't know if you're looking for it, but it basically says that you can't metal detect on state property unless it's a beach.
No.
'Cause on a beach, you can scoop up the sand and it's basically the holes disappears. I think that's, it's even, ocean beaches or inland sandy areas. But other than that, it's not allowed at the state, unless you ask and are granted permission, of course, it could be part of, I'm a student at UMass studying archaeology in the area. We know that we have a good idea this might be here, we want to look for it. And then they sit around for a year and think about it and say, well, maybe. You know what I mean?
And then the student graduates.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean he's gone? But, it kind of makes sense. They don't want you digging around in the woods even because habitat. And, plus you're off the beaten path, and if you're on a trail, then you might be able to dig a hole that somebody trips in. So that all kind of makes sense to me. But then, some of the, on the forum, the metal detecting person's going, I wouldn't ask. I'd just go do it. So, it's not, certainly I don't think it would be a revenue maker, I'm sure Worcester's is as onerous as it is, so they don't have to ever do anything about it. $100, it's like, wow. You do get 10 tries. I thought that was kind of funny. Well, I'm looking at the forum and going, wait a minute, they don't know where it actually can get up. But that first page, it's got all these lines that go, what you mean? It's, you get like a thing that the guy stamps it every time you show up.
I'm gonna get going in a few minutes. I'm gonna get going in a few minutes.
Yeah, sure.
So if you want to jump around, if there's anything there.
I don't think so. Pretty much don't have much on the signs at this point. We don't hear anything more about the clock or the school.
No.
And there's no other unanticipated items, is there?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Oxbow schools. They're supposed to come down in July.
Mm-hmm. I know it's, they do their whole public process, and then it's up to them to decide what they're doing with it in their private process. So
We haven't heard a thing.
They got a variance for that and a special permit, I believe.
So a special permit expires at some
The
point.
special permit expires in 2 years and the variance expires in 1. So they will.
Because they said July was when the building was going to come down. We haven't seen it.
But I don't. It's possible Jeff has heard something, but I think the last time you asked me about it, I checked in the chapter notes. You hadn't heard anything about it either.
Okay.
So
There's something that the new associate or assistant planner sent. Do you know what that is?
there's a CBA special permit for the housing authority parking lot.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah.
There's nothing there that we need to worry about, right?
I mean, I don't think that.
I just saw it quick. I didn't really.
What they're proposing is they have a wooded area. They want to cut down some trees and expand that parking lot at the housing authority property off of Hippolyta Street.
Allen Street.
Allen Street.
If you,
Oh,
yeah, I didn't get a good look at it, I just go see it.
So, I mean, I don't think that there's anything historical there. In the, like, they're not demolishing
Are
it.
they doing it back into the property?
I'm not actually even sure. I've never looked at the site plans for it. But I think it's sort of going into Danucci, towards Danucci Way.
Okay. Let's see.
another question. How much longer is the street?
I think it was always it was a 2 to 3 year project.
We're 2 years into it.
Well, so they started last fall. The bid was last fall, and then they started construction, but they really didn't start much or do much. Essentially, what they've been doing so far is just all of the underground, replacing all the underground utilities, and then they've been doing work down here at the intersection for a while. And then when they're at this point, it'll be next spring or next summer before they can repave anything.
Should be from this
Yeah.
country.
But it comes to a like the underground work takes a long time
Yeah.
and
I don't
causes the most
understand.
disturbance. And then they come to the point where like they're doing the curbing and the sidewalks and the street and the street lights and all the above ground stuff happens like so quickly. It's like
This is only like a
It'll be
little,
interesting to see how they plow over the patches that are on patches.
I mean they've been doing that for years on Union Street. It's just a little bit more. It's a little bit more patchy now. Yeah.
Interesting. Way over 50 is their debt. Eventually.
it's a pretty good sized property area. It's trees there.
Five.
Not historic trees.
They may.
Not historic trees, I take it.
What is a tree? What does it take to make a tree historic?
Well, some people got hanged from some, and some people carved their initials in some, and
Mary
some people
Maple
were.
and Amherst.
Yes. Ask the Buddhists about the
I know.
Bodhi tree.
All right, so,
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go. Y'all should continue to discuss the. Thank you. Do my best. I'll keep discussing whatever. Then. Let me know if you need anything for the middle. Otherwise,
well,
good luck.
basically what he said, you know, I don't know where insert ordinance where, or, you know, mention of it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we're responding to the mayor with, we looked at some ordinances, here's what we found, we had different ordinances. Our recommendation is to put together a reasonable list of rules and regulations for metal detecting on public property, which would probably go for all public property and like including which locations are off limits and which are on limits, and you know, if Parks and Rec has any other specific, more specific information, or you know, they can add to it.
Yeah, you know, a lot of it, which I had, as I was looking, makes sense, like town green. Well, you know, there's power, there's water there, there's, you know, there's all sorts of things underground, so people start digging around, you know. Not
Yep.
that, you know, you're gonna dig deep, but, you know, you can hit something, there used to be irrigation there. I don't think they use it anymore, but, you know, it's there.
The irrigation lines are typically the ones that are buried that shallow. Everything else is,
You hope.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
but it makes sense, well, you don't want to let people all over the place. All right,
I mean, the regulations could be no metal detecting on any public property other than those that are allowed by the Parks and Rec Department.
yeah,
If metal detecting is a recreational activity, then it can happen on the Parks and Rec land, but it shouldn't be, like, if someone wants to go metal detect on, I don't know, the front yard of the police department, I mean, like, it's public space, and
right, yeah.
should they be
Well, I
allowed
mean, you
to?
got Town Common, you got, what else you got? The
Cemetery.
little park by,
And so maybe it's, you can metal detect anywhere, but only digging can happen on certain locations. Because again, if you're just looking at the surface for things that were dropped recently,
Yeah.
that's a different
yeah.
that's a different type of metal detecting than when you're going down 6-8 inches or a foot.
Okay, makes sense. We'll see if we put a coherent thought together on it. That's the hard part.
That's always the hard part, getting those thoughts together, writing them down. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
And if we don't see you, have a good holiday.
Thank you. You all too.
Is that late in the year already? Okay, I'm looking at the summer historic sign program. Haven't really done anything yet. I want to try to get some examples. I have a bunch of stuff, but I don't know where it is. So, and I can't, I got a couple boxes tucked away. I can't get to them yet. It's a little, like, oh, I can almost grab that. So I didn't do anything recently. I think there was one update on the canal. Shannon sent a email out to people involved, and I think Mass Historical had a comment or a question or something concerning we're still waiting for the National Register eligibility determination from the Mass Historical Commission, but I wanted to touch base. Earlier this month, the Historical Commission asked the project consultant for more information about Prism 82. The project consultant has mailed that back to the Mass Historical Commission as of today, so hopefully it's the last item needed for the evaluation process to proceed. Not sure what that's underneath here. It's not a snake anyways. I will keep you posted as soon as I hear anything, so that's basically the only update. We're still waiting for Mass Historic to take a look at it. It'd be kind of cool if they got a National Register nomination for that. And that's it. Anybody have anything about
What's the school reuse thing on here?
Well, we're still waiting on whether the schools, I think they're in the process of getting, the company to take it over.
I thought
They haven't
they-
taken
I
possession of them yet, I guess.
thought- because I thought they had already decided on which company, right?
I think they have, yeah, but I don't think they've officially taken possession of the buildings yet. I mean,
Everything moves very slowly.
sometimes, and then all of a sudden it'll be like boom, 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 You're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, hurry up and wait, and then
Yep.
watch out and get bowled over.
I mean, I keep it on there just because, something will, bound to happen eventually. That's pretty much it. The next meeting, then we'll finish this up, then we can chat for a while.
I'm I thought I had forwarded to you all this reported from the reminder. I just texted
Oh,
back.
yes, yeah, I did see that.
Sadly, the deadline is tomorrow, and I didn't ask until just a little while ago, like, was there, a deadline? So I don't know if she responds
What are
right
you
now.
talking about?
About the
Just wanted to ask
history of
about
Easthampton.
Easthampton history, And I had said I thought you two would be better to talk to her than me, but
Do you have my new email address?
I bet I don't. Make sure I
Because I'm not getting any.
What is it, Bev?
BWODICKA48 @iCloud.com.
BWODICKA48 @iCloud.com.
The Gmail thing got all screwed up and trying to put an app on the television.
I just realized we just
January
gave your
10th.
email away over the TV. Good thing. Hopefully the viewership isn't.
Well, like I said, one person watched the last one, that was me.
Yeah.
I was even here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was just about to mention too, I also, my phone got messed up. I have a phone number, but I won't say it.
January 10th?
I guess.
Okay. And motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
I second.
Aye.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.